So you're curious about AI. Good, because the podcast episode we're diving into today is full of thought-provoking stuff.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This whole thing with AI, it's like humanity's always been drawn to powerful tools, technologies that could either solve all our problems or become our downfall.
Right. And the episode we're dissecting today, it's from Ashark Podcasts, an Arabic language show called Siana. A billion-dollar quotient definitely doesn't shy away from the big questions.
And it's a debate that's becoming more and more relevant, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Okay, so picture this. A future where everything is self-driving.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? The potential for AI to become so deeply embedded in our lives that we end up handing over control of the very things that make us human.
It's a bit unnerving when you think about it like that. And one of the experts featured in this episode, Professor Roman Yampolsky, a computer scientist who literally wrote the book on AI risk, AI, uninterpretable, unpredictable, uncontrollable, argues that this potential surrender of control is a huge risk.
His comparison of superintelligent AI to a nuclear weapon is certainly attention-grabbing, wouldn't you say?
Totally. He's not mincing words. Yampolsky argues that if AI falls into the wrong hands, or if we fail to set up the right safeguards, it could have devastating consequences for humanity.
What I find interesting is that even the most enthusiastic supporters of AI, those who see it purely as a force for good, seem to agree with him on the need for safety protocols. There's this underlying tension between the incredible potential benefits and the equally immense potential for things to go very wrong.
It's like walking a tightrope, right? And this episode doesn't just give us the doom and gloom perspective. It also features Joseph Wiebe, an expert in AI ecosystems, who brings a more optimistic outlook. He emphasizes how AI is already making waves in fields like healthcare and logistics, making them more efficient and effective.
Wiebe seems to view AI as a tool that can be used for good to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. But, and it's a big but, he stresses the importance of governments and researchers getting ahead of the potential downsides.
Which is where things get really interesting.
Exactly. Because this is where the ethical implications of AI come into sharp focus.
Where?
For example, who gets to decide which values are embedded in these systems?
The podcast episode uses a really fascinating example to highlight this point. Remember those AI-generated images of Taylor Swift that caused such a stir online?
It's a great example of how quickly this technology is evolving. What started as a fun novelty quickly became a source of concern for some people.
Right. 1 minute, people are marveling at how realistic these AI-generated images are, and the next minute, they're worrying about the implications for misinformation and manipulation. It really makes you question what's real and what's not.
It really does. And it highlights something crucial about this whole AI conversation. We're not just talking about some cool new tech here. It's bigger than that. We're talking about the potential to, reshape reality as we know it.
It's kind of mind-blowing, right? This isn't just about making things more efficient anymore. It's about how we live, work, even govern ourselves.
Exactly. And this podcast episode, it even touches on that classic AI fear the Terminator scenario.
Okay, yeah. The Terminator scenario. That's a bit freaky. But is that really a possibility? I always thought that was just, science fiction.
It's a common theme in sci-fi for a reason, right? It taps into this primal fear we have about losing control, becoming subservient to something more intelligent than ourselves. And Professor Yampolsky, he seems to believe that this scenario, though maybe not with robots quite like the Terminator, is a very real possibility if we're not extremely careful.
So he's saying this isn't just some Hollywood fantasy.
He makes the case that once AI surpasses human intelligence, it becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to predict its behavior or guarantee its safety. It's the unknowns that worry him the most.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit unsettling. So what can we do about it? If we're building something we can't even understand, how do we control it?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it leads to this concept called AI alignment. It's the idea that we need to ensure that AI systems are designed with human values and goals at the forefront, essentially making sure AI is working with us, not against us.
That makes sense, but how do you actually embed something as complex as human values into lines of code? It's not like programming a calculator or something.
Exactly. It's a huge challenge, and it's why many experts, Yampolsky included, believe we need to involve not just computer scientists, but also ethicists, philosophers, social scientists, a whole team of people with different perspectives.
So it's not just about preventing some sci-fi robot uprising. We also need to think about the more everyday ways AI could go wrong.
Absolutely. Think about it this way. Even if we manage to prevent AI from, becoming evil, it could still have unintended consequences.
Can you give me an example? How could AI be, like, biased?
Let's say, for example, an AI system is being used to help banks decide who gets approved for a loan. Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what if that AI was trained on data that reflects historical lending biases? Biases based on things like race or gender that have existed in the
Oh,
past.
I see where you're going with this.
Right.
The AI could end up repeating those same biases, even if that wasn't the intention.
Exactly. And that's just one example. It's why AI literacy is so important. The more we understand these potential pitfalls, the better equipped we'll be to address them. It's on all of us to become more informed.
It almost feels like we all need to become, like, amateur AI ethicists.
Well, maybe not quite to that level. But becoming more AI literate is crucial. We need to empower ourselves with knowledge, think critically about this technology, and demand transparency from those who are developing and deploying it.
So it's not all doom and gloom then. Where does Joseph Waby's optimism fit into all of this?
That's the thing. While acknowledging the risks, Weeby really emphasizes the transformative potential of AI, especially in areas like healthcare, education, even tackling climate change.
Yeah, I can see how AI could be a game changer in those fields.
Exactly. For example, Weeby is particularly excited about how AI can personalize education. Imagine a world where every student has a learning experience tailored to their specific needs and learning style, all thanks to AI.
That would be incredible. But what about the impact on jobs? That's the big fear a lot of people have when it comes to AI, right? That robots are going to take everyone's jobs.
It's a valid concern. Automation is already transforming industries, and AI is poised to accelerate that trend. Professor Yampolsky doesn't sugarcoat this, suggesting that AI could lead to mass unemployment if we're not prepared.
He makes it sound pretty dire.
He does, and it's a good wake-up call, I think. He argues that we need to start rethinking our social safety nets, our economic models even, for a future where those traditional 9-to-5 jobs might be harder to come by. We might need to explore things like universal basic income or large-scale retraining programs.
Okay, so we need to be prepared for some major societal shifts. But is there a more optimistic take on the future of work?
There is. Wabi, on the other hand, sees this as a workforce evolution, not an extinction. He believes that AI will create new jobs and even entirely new industries.
So it's not necessarily robots like taking our jobs, but about us adapting to those new roles and industries that AI will help create.
Exactly. But that means we need to be proactive. We need to make sure our education systems are equipping people, with the skills they'll need to thrive in this new AI-driven world.
It's like we need to become more flexible, more adaptable,
Yeah.
both in terms of, like, our skills and our mindsets.
Precisely. And that brings us back to, the importance of AI literacy. It's not just about understanding how the technology works. It's about understanding how it's going to impact our lives, our careers, our world.
It feels like we're, like, on the cusp of something huge, something that could go either way. It's a bit daunting, honestly.
It is. And that's precisely why I think, this deep dive is so valuable. It doesn't shy away from the complexity of AI. It encourages us to ask those hard questions, to consider different perspectives, to really engage in this thoughtful discussion about the future we want to build with AI.
It's not just up to the tech giants or the governments to decide this, right?
Yeah.
It's our collective future we're talking about here.
Absolutely. And that sense of shared responsibility, that comes through loud and clear in this episode, I think. It's a call to action for all of us. Regardless of whether, we're tech wizards or just regular folks trying to keep up, we need to become more AI literate to understand both the potential benefits and the risks, and to demand ethical development of these powerful technologies.
So what can we do? Where do we even start?
Well, the episode actually offers a few practical steps, actually. Supporting organizations working on AI safety and governance, I think that's a great place to start. Engaging in public discourse, talking about these issues with, friends, family, colleagues, that's important too. And of course, staying informed, keeping up with the latest developments in the field.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
It really is. Especially in the age of AI. The more we understand, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges, but also to, harness the opportunities this technology presents. This episode really drives home the point that AI isn't some futuristic fantasy anymore. It's here, it's evolving rapidly, and it's already shaping our world in some really profound ways.
It's been eye-opening, to say the least. It feels like this is just the tip of the iceberg, though, really.
It is, but that's the exciting part, isn't it? We're standing at the precipice of something truly transformative. And while that's, a little bit daunting, it's an incredible opportunity to shape the future.
Well said. So to everyone listening, the future of AI isn't preordained. It's being written right now. And you have a voice in that conversation. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep the conversation going.
If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.